Welcome to your deep dive. Today, we're going to be diving into all things online travel planning. We always get a fascinating study, and this one from Expedia is all about how people go from, hey, maybe I should take a trip sometime, to actually clicking that button and booking it.
Yeah, and it really is more than just clicking around a few websites. This Expedia study, they actually followed a huge group of people,
Oh, wow. So, like, how many people are we talking?
over 70,000 people,
Wow.
and they tracked their every digital move leading up to booking a trip.
That's a lot of data.
It is.
So, before we kind of get lost in the weeds here, paint me a picture. What kind of data are we actually talking about? What were they tracking?
So imagine like a digital breadcrumb trail of your online travels.
Hmm.
Expedia tracked things like website visits, clicks, searches, you name it, for 45 days leading up to a booking.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, they didn't stop there. They combined all this digital data with a separate survey of almost 6,000 recent travelers.
Mm.
So this gives us a really unique window into not just what people do online, but also what's motivating those actions, what's going on behind the scenes.
So we're not just talking about the cold hard data, but we're also talking about the emotional drivers,
Hmm.
the why behind the click.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I can already see how this is going to be pretty fascinating. So lay it on me. What's the first big reveal from all of this?
Well, get ready for this, because the average person looks at a staggering 141 pages of travel content before actually booking a trip.
141, that's like reading a whole novel.
That's a lot of pages. I mean, I consider myself to be pretty well versed in,
Yeah.
travel blogs and articles, and even that seems a bit excessive. So is that everyone, or are certain types of travelers more prone to this deep dive?
You bring up a good point. It's not a one size fits all.
Okay.
While 141 pages is the average across all the travelers in the study, U.S. travelers take the cake, averaging a whopping 277 pages.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we definitely take it seriously. Some serious dedication.
We love our research. And it's not just about, quickly skimming these pages either. This is quality time that we're spending here.
Exactly. The study actually found that people are spending on average over 5 hours on travel websites and apps before confirming their trip.
Wow, 5 hours. That's a whole workday for some people.
It's true.
So I know I spend a fair amount of time on those online travel agencies, those OTAs, the Expedias, the Booking.coms of the world, but that can't be the whole picture, right? Where else are people spending those precious travel planning hours?
You're right, it's not all about the OTAs. While they do take up a significant chunk of that time, airline and hotel websites get their fair share of attention as well. But what might surprise you is the role of search engines and social media, especially in those early stages of planning a trip.
That makes total sense. It starts with that wanderlust-inducing Instagram post or that quick Google search for, best hiking trails in Patagonia, and suddenly you're down this rabbit hole of blog posts, destination guides, reviews. It's like you said earlier, those breadcrumbs start scattering long before we even realize we're planning a trip.
Exactly, and that actually brings us to another fascinating finding from this study. The average time from that first, flicker of travel inspiration to actually hitting that book button, 71 days.
71 days. Wow. So we're talking over 2 months.
Over 2 months.
Okay, so that's a pretty long time to be thinking about a trip. Does that change at all depending on, where you're going or what kind of trip it is?
It does. For domestic trips, it tends to be a bit shorter. But yeah, for those international adventures, that planning period stretches out even further, on average about 85 days. But here's the thing. What's really interesting is that the study found this planning window, however long it isn't always a totally conscious process.
Yeah.
You might be influenced by travel content and not even realize it's kind of seeping in.
Oh, absolutely. Like a catchy ad here for friends' travel photos there, and suddenly I'm dreaming about escaping to, the mountains or something.
Mhm.
But what is that initial spark? What's actually getting people thinking about taking a trip in the first place?
You might be surprised to learn that good old-fashioned word of mouth is still a huge factor.
Really?
The study found that 37% of people were inspired to travel after chatting with, family or friends.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing like hearing about a friend's amazing vacation to get you itching to book your own.
Exactly. But it's not just those personal connections. Nearly 20% of people in the study actually said that advertising played a role in their decision to travel.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So those enticing visuals and those well-timed deals, they can be hard to resist.
Oh, absolutely. Like a stunning photo of a tropical beach or, a flash sale on flights. I'm clicking right through. Speaking of which, let's talk about the role of OTAs. We've all been there, right? The endless scrolling, comparing all the prices, trying to find that best possible deal. What did the study have to say about that?
Yeah, so it looks like even if someone ends up booking directly with an airline or hotel, chances are they probably still used an OTA at some point to do research.
Totally. It's like window shopping for travel. You want to see what's out there before you fully commit.
It's true. OTAs are great for that initial browsing phase. You can compare prices from all the different airlines and hotels, just kind of get a sense of what the market looks like.
And in a world where everyone's looking for the best value, I imagine price is a major factor for most people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially for our friends down under. The study found that travelers from Australia and Canada tend to be particularly price sensitive. But it's not just about, finding the absolute cheapest option. Nearly a third of the people they surveyed actually said that a positive past experience with a specific brand factored into their booking decision.
So brand loyalty isn't dead after all. It's good to hear. People, I mean, they still value a good experience and they're willing to, factor that in, even if it's not always about chasing the absolute cheapest option out there.
Right, and especially, these days, there's so much uncertainty in travel, right? Like
Yeah.
with flights and cancellations and restrictions and all this stuff. So having that trust in a brand can really make a difference. In fact, the study actually found that having a flexible cancellation policy is a huge factor for people right now.
Oh, yeah, totally. Makes total sense.
Peace of mind, right?
Totally. It's like travel insurance for your sanity.
It,
Okay, so speaking of, added value and things like that, let's talk about those loyalty programs. All those points and miles, do those perks actually influence where people book, or are we all just, at the end of the day, chasing the best deal, loyalty be damned?
it's kind of the age-old dilemma to be
Okay.
loyal or to chase that deal. But this study actually had some really interesting insights into that. They found that 80%
Mm-hmm.
of people who are in these travel rewards programs
Yeah.
said that it does influence their booking choices.
Interesting.
However, and this is a big however, most of them said that they would switch
Yeah,
if a competitor offered them a significantly better price.
of course. Yeah.
So it's this balancing act,
Totally. Right.
right? For these loyalty programs, they need to offer real value if they want to stand out.
For sure. Yeah. It's not enough to just offer points. There has to be a real tangible benefit.
Exactly. Those perks need to translate into, actual discounts or exclusive deals or, those little unexpected upgrades that make you feel like a VIP.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it's really about cultivating that relationship with the traveler, not just like, here's a transaction.
Totally. Yeah.
It's more than that.
It's about trust, I think, too,
Uh-huh.
right? And value and, maybe that little treat yourself factor.
Exactly. And, I think that's what makes this study so fascinating is that it reveals how complex our decision-making process is for something that seems so simple.
Right. Like booking travel. Right.
Yeah, you think, oh, I'm going to go on a trip. I'm going to go on Expedia and book it. But it's really not that simple.
No, it's definitely not. Well, this has been really interesting. I mean, kind of a wild ride through the mind of the modern traveler. We've learned it's a long and winding road influenced by everything from those initial sparks of inspiration to, the nitty-gritty of pricing and cancellation policies.
Right. And don't forget, this is a journey that takes time.
Oh, yeah.
It can be weeks or even months, and all different factors can kind of nudge us in different directions.
Absolutely. So for anyone listening, I think it's interesting to kind of think about, where do you fall on that spectrum? Are you more of a planner? You have every detail mapped out. Or are you someone who's a little more spontaneous? And how much of that is conscious, right? And how much of it is all these other factors that we're talking about that are kind of subtly influencing our choices?
Right. And maybe knowing this, we can kind of take a little bit more control.
Exactly. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. But this is a topic, that we could probably talk about for hours. So, maybe this is something for all of us to keep thinking about as we go forward in our, travel planning adventures.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the future of travel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more insights and updates. Visit Tourism, Capturing the Scene of Knowledge, a comprehensive website delivering the latest travel trends and innovations. Accelerate your mastery of the tourism industry, all in one place. Navigate through a vast showcase of comprehensive business-oriented tourism content, 99% pure industry intelligence, and 1% academic, curated for discerning professionals. Why subscribe to Tourism? Capturing the Scene of Knowledge. Make informed decisions. Instantly access key reports and insights from top sources across the tourism industry. No research required. All in one place. Why split your attention? A single subscription gives you easy access to thousands of reports, videos, and infographics just as effortlessly as watching a 30-second ad. Save time with curated searches. Time is money. Let our subscription save you both by delivering valuable insights directly without the endless search. Until next time, happy travels.